of Group A is shifting as we speak. Tim Howard alongside me, Joe Spates. The US have been fantastic. A double half-time change from New Zealand, who attacked here straight away. They brought on Jesse Randall, their number 11, and Oscar Van Hattem, their number 18. It's a long way back in the game for New Zealand. There's a big question now as to how much do we see the US push on from here and try and increase the scoreline, or how much do they think, right, let's ensure we contain what we have?
Well, it's a little bit of both, isn't it? They kicked off, the US set their stall out again, pressing with 4 from the front. Nothing was really going to change, I don't believe, from the US side, so it was going to be more for New Zealand. How can they break the US down? How can they get numbers further forward into that US half? And they did really well right in that opening minute of the second half. New Zealand got a good chance to get the ball in the box. But this is important for New Zealand to get more recoveries higher up the pitch, because what they were doing in the first half, they were starting so many of their attacks and their build-up deep in their half, and they couldn't break the US down. If they can win the ball further forward, put a bit more pressure in that midfield, and get those fullbacks and the center backs of New Zealand to press high when the ball comes in the feet, then they can win it and break it. And in turn, the US just did that to them.
Here's Aronson for the US. The driving run forward. Really well there, but couldn't find the pass out towards Kevin Paredes. Maybe there was one enforced change in the first half from Marko Mitrovic, the US coach, with Lucio, one of the goal scorers, departing due to injury. Jack McLean came on for him. Herdman and Lachlan Davis, the two players who departed at half-time for New Zealand. Well, they won their first match against Guinea by 2-1. The US were beaten in Marseille by France by 3-0. But what a recovery this has been from the US today.
And in fairness to Baisley, the New Zealand manager, when he brought up Herdman and Bayless, but he could have brought off nearly all of his 11. So the rest of them really lucky to survive that halftime and still be on the pitch. So we'll see if he's lit a fire underneath them, if they can continue to press the game in an intelligent way, and they've done that to start in a very short period of time, but to start the second half. And talk about the US camping in New Zealand's end. If New Zealand can do this, the US will accept it. They're up 3-0, so they'll get opportunities, will New Zealand, to pin the US back, because they're not going to be terribly expansive in these moments. They're not going to take risks. They're going to ask you to break them down, but you'll be able to get the ball, particularly into the wide areas, if they move it quickly enough, which is something New Zealand hasn't done in the first half. Dallied too long on the ball, taking too many touches. This needs to be 1 and 2 touch. That's really good there from Sherman.
Van Hattem tussling with Aronson. Skirmish too, with words exchanged. The US won't mind that. And words for Oscar Van Hattem, the fourth member of his family to represent New Zealand. Aronson, second of his family to the US shirt on an international stage. Aronson is somewhat perplexed that vote went against him.
Wow. 6 of one, half dozen of another. They're grabbing each other. I think Aronson's right. You know, he has a grip of Van Hatten's jersey first, but in the end they wrest each other to the ground. And sometimes the referee is somewhat compassionate to the cause, and New Zealand hasn't had much in the game, so probably the linesman gave for the first tug.
Sarpreet Singh with the New Zealand free kick. Testament there. But the referee did see a foul earlier on, so a free kick for the USA.
I think they got away with one there because saw Testament just get underneath that header to give what would have been a corner away, and he could have just let it skip through, but the Swedish referee blows for a foul, and he just get away with it. It's going to be important that they defend set pieces. New Zealand can be direct. They've got really good athletes, particularly when they're able to get Boxall and Sermon up into the penalty area. So it's a good way for New Zealand to get back in this game US have to be switched on, recognizing those moments, and they have been so far.
Top 2 teams in each group will qualify for the quarterfinals, the last 8 stage. Be in contention to push on to claim the medals, get the podium place. As it stands right now, the US will jump from 4th place to 2nd place in Group A. They go above their opponents here on goal difference. Behind France, who play later on today, the host nation, up against Guinea. Some notable results earlier today in the men's football event. 8 matches on one day. First 2 games saw wins for Argentina and Spain. 2 of the teams who were highly touted to be gold medal contenders. Argentina beat Iraq by 3 goals to 1. Spain with a 3-1 success over the Dominican Republic. And that was the result that saw Spain become the first team to qualify for the quarter-final. The way that the path would shape up going on for the USA. They would play in a quarter-final if they get there. One of the teams from Group B, that contains Argentina, and also Morocco, who were so impressive in their opening match when they beat the Argentinians. Still some way in the future.
Yeah, it is, and both teams get sloppy here during this last spell. This is what US needs, just to take the sting out of it a little bit. They're in no rush, in no hurry. If you can find a white shirt, be available for one another. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of extra running, that extra yard, just to make up the distance. It's a really good blind pass from McGlynn around the corner.
Michael Ball. Aronson now. This is Maguire. Friendly no by Michael Boxall. The US hasn't made more of that situation.
Glenn, that's a pass, raises your eyebrows. You're thinking, didn't know he had that in his locker, but he let us know. You know, because the easy pass, the easy square pass was on, they were building in a really good way. But to reverse that ball, knowing that the fullback, Linden, had pressed high, and Aronson was in a 1v1 situation. It's a really good ball, good execution.
Linden was the first half sub for the US. The bustle of Queens, New York City. Nearly 100 games in MLS for Philadelphia Union. 2 of their team now on the pitch. Either Harry or the other.
It's interesting, we don't sense a ton of urgency from New Zealand. The question was, how are they going to build themselves back into the game? And yet, we're still seeing some of the patterns of play, trying to play in the midfield, bouncing it back, majority of the possession coming through the back 4, which again, when you're in the game and you're probing is all well and good at the moment. Not that I believe they should throw caution to the wind, because goal difference is a big issue there. They have to still try and find a way to press the game and the tempo, and right now, this is the same pace at which they played in the first half, and we know how detrimental that was, being down 3-0.
Still a warm night on the sand coast of France. Very different conditions compared to what you've seen in Paris over the past couple of days, all the rain up there. Temperature in the mid-80s here at kick-off time, which was 7 p.m. local time.
We can hear Mitrovic saying, "Go on, Georgie." And what he's seeing is he's got 2 banks of 4, plus Mihailovic and Maguire, and it's a really good way to set their stall out. What Mihailovic is doing is he's dropping back into that midfield 4 to make it a 5, and Mitrovic, the manager, doesn't want that. He wants Mihailovic and Maguire to be up the top of the pitch, pressing together as a 2, not having Maguire on his own. And we get some really good audio here on the pitch, and we're able to hear that.
Good ball there by Mihailovic. That's to Aronson. And McGlynn with some time. He has a wonderful left foot, and he used it there. He was kept at bay by Alex Paulson as the US pushed for goal number 4.
It's a good left foot experience. You can see here, as he comes to the ball, gets attracted to it, he knows what he wants to do. Sets that first touch out of his feet and gets a good sight at it. Destined for the bottom corner. Paulson makes another really good save. see the extension. It's a good area for a goalkeeper. You want to get it out the other side, the other way from the 6-yard box, out of danger. Did really well there as a goalkeeper.
So nowadays, 121 caps. Just the goalkeeper for the US national team. Going to be a sub here, not long into the second half for the US. Going to see Griffin Yan coming on, in fact a double change. Maxi Dietz also coming on. Griffin Yan almost scored a fine goal against France in the stadium on Wednesday. That was disallowed due to offside. It's Maguire and Mihajlovic who make way. Mihajlovic who scored the goal but put the USA on their way that very early penalty. Maxi Dietz, who's a centre half but has also played in that holding midfield role in the past and may well now occupy that latter position. Renes here holding his face at a pretty robust challenge.
Certainly having a good look at it, probably getting some information in his ear as well, wondering what happened, and nothing happened. There was nothing in it. You know, the New Zealand player gets his arm across Paredes, he goes down easily, wins a free kick of course, but nothing more than that. And good shift from those two, Mihajlovic and Maguire. Now Yao gets a chance to come on and try and get on the score sheet. It's important for strikers to be able to do that. I like Dietz, I like the substitution. Dietz in a small cameo did really well. I thought marauding around in that midfield and just creating balance at that back four.
Quickly with the free kick, turned away by Bell for New Zealand. So Griffin Yan will now play what is, I think, going to be a false number 9 role with that number 9 on his back. From Clifton, Virginia, spent the last 2 years playing in the Belgian top tier, across the border, the northeast of France. He scored 7 goals there last season. Here he is now. Yank to the USA. Aronson took it off! Yes! Young and old, another super moment for the US.
It is. It's a really good run from Yao. Fresh legs, energetic, what you want from your substitutes. Good first touch. He takes a deflection, but credit Aronson in the right place. Sets his first touch up for the strike, gathers his feet, puts it on frame. You get good things happen when you're in those positions, and it's a look of desperation there for the Sing and New Zealand team. Not a lot they can do. Joyous raptures from the U.S. crowd, and why not? And it's interesting because this is a nice little wrinkle here for the U.S. and Mitrovic. You have Aronson playing up in that false 9, and you mentioned Yao has actually a profile of a winger at times, so he can do both. He can play as an out-and-out 9, a false 9, and a winger. And this formation is just down the wing, and you saw how energetic he is when he gets the ball to feet. He's able to run the channels, take fullbacks on. I like this from the U.S.
Off goes Yao again. Some impact, straight off the bench, an assist straight away. Before the hour mark, the US with 4, and now Ariel! That deflects away behind for a corner. This is a US team who are hungry for more.
Yeah, and New Zealand's just been sloppy in so many aspects. It's a good turnover from Harry Hill, but ultimately New Zealand need to bypass some of this pressure. How much territory can we gain? And sometimes it's playing direct and it's playing a little bit ugly. But what's currently happening isn't working, and it hasn't worked for New Zealand. And they continue to fall in this trap. I said 3 can't become 4. It has. Now they're in trouble.
In with the corner. Selman clears away. That's 10 shots on goal now in the game. The USA. It's been a real intent to attack. They've taken their chances in the main tonight. That's in contrast to the first game against France, when key times, some big moments went against them, but a very different tale for Marko Mitrovic's team here.
Yeah, that's the point. We knew they could create chances, Joe. They did that even against probably the best team in their group in the tournament. Could they finish? And they showed today they do have the venom in their boots. They do have the instinct to get those goals. And this, I can tell you, when you score goals, it does a world of good for the confidence throughout the team. So they'll love to get a few more.
Paredes. McLean in towards Yao. Difficult one for him. Trying to just flick it, keep it on target.
Yeah, it's a tough header. It only needs a little tiny glance, and there was some good pressure there, really, from the fullback. It puts them off. Great, yeah, it's what you want, Joe, from your substitute. You want them lively in the action.
There's the pass.
Yes!
Over this down. The offside flags up for now. To cut
It was
short the joy.
offside.
Jack McLean hit a rasping shot. Offside was given. VAR will double check.
Let's take a look at it here. Constant theme, sloppy turnovers from New Zealand. It's just going to be offside there. Referee linesman get that right. There's no issue. His job is get pressure, get turnovers, get opportunities. The U.S. is doing that, and Mitrovic has got to be delighted with his substitutions. McGlynn, Yao, energetic, lively, in and around the play at all times, causing big problems, big questions, and quite frankly, maybe pushing to get an opportunity for the third game to start.
Showing the depth of their squad there. Really exuberance too. The squad which is in the main, players who are 23 or under. 3 overage players allowed to. 2 of those scored the goals in the game for the USA. So, poor ball there by Robbins. Rare mistake made by the US. Singh. Surveyed by Zimmerman.
Rare mistake, but you saw how many bodies they got around the ball. Really good reaction to that play.
Tolkien's gone over there. First time in the game he's been in the wars.
Let's have another look at the goal here. Great run from now. Aaronson's being in a really good spot. You can see he doesn't get himself. There's 4 black jerseys there. He doesn't go into the middle. He pulls away from the play. It's smart.
4 goals, 4 different goal scorers. 3 changes made by Marko Mitrovic, so still 2 more available to him. And in that context, I wonder whether he may think about the yellow card situation. One shown there to New Zealand's number 3, Sam Sutton, but there are 2 players who are in danger of a potential ban for the US should they be caught of the game. Testament on the booking in this game. Paredes, who was booked in the opening game.
Well, listen, Joe, I'd be shocked if those 2 players don't come off. They're so integral to what this U.S. team does. I mean, they have to come off.
Yao. Now McLean. Aronson. first time on the volley. Way behind for a corner.
It's just incredible the body language I'm seeing from the New Zealand players. It's slumped shoulders, it's head down, it's hands on hips. I mean, even in that moment, the ball needs to be cleared. And it goes out for a corner, and once again having to defend on the back foot. But to your point, I can see Mitrovic taking off those two players on yellow, because you would hate for them to have to miss the big game coming up in a few years' time.
Final group game against Guinea. Fifth US corner. Taken by Alex Paulson. No surprise are you by this? I mean, yes, the USA have been really impressive today. But I think before the game, the expectation was this would be a very even contest.
Yeah, we thought so. You and I spoke before the game. We just thought it would be the way they match up. From a physicality standpoint, New Zealand has some really good footballers in the front areas of the pitch. I mean, they're nearly a copy of each other, and New Zealand just didn't show up.
It's their captain, Garbutt. Cross was deflected and really well dealt with there under pressure by Robinson.
And it could be a bit of complacency. The US don't play particularly well, get beat pretty heavily by France. New Zealand win their game, so they might come in a little bit overconfident. I mean, there's so many little storylines to why New Zealand look the way they do today.
So much time and space on the ball there for Yao. Axel McLean. Should be able to enjoy this last quarter of the game now, the US, and their supporters watching on back home.
And I can tell everybody at home watching, this is the best part of being up 4-0. You can just enjoy the ball. Knock it around. New Zealand are chasing shadows, can't get near, have to come out and press you, because they're not in a position where they can just let you have the ball. They have to be seen to try and make a difference defensively, and then you just get this time and space, opportunity to knock the ball around, no real pressure. It's fun, I can assure you.
McLean, the goal again. Here's a Talbot. If you allow him that room to get a shot away, it can be so deadly.
I was just going to say, what we know now, which we already had an idea about, is that left foot is really sweet. He at every opportunity, even from tight angles, really wants it dialed in.
Well, these are the last two changes for the US. On comes Ben-Hur Cremaschi, the youngest player in the squad, just 19. Taylor Boone on as well. Saw Boone coming on the opening match, but Cremaschi now the final outfield player to enter the fray at the Olympic Games for the US. Key this game in Florida. Teammates of Lionel Messi or Inter Miami.
Must be nice. He's lucky to be able to be around the greatest player in the history of football and learn from that every day.
He's a rising star, Ben-Hur Cremaschi. Parents from Argentina, Mendoza region. Father Pablo was a professional rugby union player for Argentina. He actually turned down a chance to be in the Argentinian squad. Joined up with the US setup. Potential going forward to beat Argentina in knockout stage. We'll see if that comes to pass. Going off there, so one of those caution players being protected, but Tessman will stay on there for the remainder of the game, so you're going to have to keep that in mind.
I'll have to, and the only thing I can think of is, having been around certain managers make those decisions, he trusts Tessman. He knows he would have reminded Tessman, you're on a yellow. I guarantee that message would have been sent to him. letting them know stay away from tackles and tricky situations. But there's a trust factor with the manager. Otherwise, he'd bring him off. He trusts him not to get himself involved. But as we know, football's a funny old game, and you know, he just has to be careful he doesn't dangle a leg or the tired mind starts to creep in and bad decisions get made. They need him. The U.S. need Tessmann to start the next game.
They're well set now to record their first success at this Olympic Games for the U.S. men.
This has been New Zealand's Achilles heel all day. Number 7 there in the middle of the screen there. Garbutt and Singh, they're their best 2 players, and New Zealand haven't been able to get them on the ball in dangerous positions. They have to continually come to the back line and get the ball off the fullbacks and the defenders, and it's just not been dangerous.
Messi Randall. Defending by Zimmerman. That'll be the focus now for the back 4 of the USA to keep a clean sheet. Let's push some more there going forward.
Well, the idea was right from Kamaski, just take the weight on the ball a little bit too light. He had Aronson running in behind 1 versus 1 for Sermon, which is actually what you want. That's the matchup you want. Could have laid it a little bit further in front, but fair play to him. Have the idea and the wherewithal to look up and try and continue to play forward.
Corner for New Zealand.
New Zealand need more than we talk. Bypass the midfield. It's too easy for the U.S. for the New Zealand fullbacks to play around the back. Get it forward, play vertically. Good things happen. Wasn't the perfect pass, but put Walker Zimmerman under pressure.
So Starfleet Singh will take this corner. Deep out winger. Next by Sermon, but no damage was done. Alive by Van Hatten. Bell. Singh. Sutton. Taken by Garbutt. That straight away by the US, and here goes the pacey, direct Taylor Booth. Pass on to, it's Griffin Yeo, the flag stay down. Trying to square it for Aronson. Almost a perfect breakaway move there for the USA.
Which is the front 3. You just see Booth here, you mentioned pacey, really good run from Yao. Checks his line, has a peek over his shoulder, knows Aronson will make up the distance because that's what his energy allows him to do. I mean, it's a really good picture-perfect counter break from the U.S. using just their front 3.
McLean's ball in. By Finn Sermon. It's the 5th time that the US men have been to the Olympics in this format. Since 16 teams entered the event. In the games of '92 in Barcelona when Spain were the champions. In the 4 previous campaigns for the USA, they've won 1 group game. And only once has that one win taken them through. That was 24 years ago. Even with this terrific winning prospect here, they'll still need something in that last group match. Guinea on Tuesday next up. The Saint-Etienne. Kramaski. Looking to follow suit, and the subs have gone before to have the impacts coming off that bench.
Yeah, don't underestimate. The U.S. players needed this performance. It's so hard as a player when you get beaten, and you get beaten heavily. It really hurts. And you start to, even in the smallest moments, you start to question, like, are we good enough? Can we make an impact here? And then you get 4 goals, and you feel like, you know what? We've arrived. Bring on the next game, and it's so important for their confidence.
15 to go for stop and shine, double change for New Zealand. comes Matthew Sheridan, plays to Joe Bell. Off goes the ineffective Ben Wayne, placed by Lucas Elliott-Heel, who is 6'6". Joint smallest player in this tournament, along with the midfielder Omar Fayed.
Substitute would come a little bit earlier. We talked about the size that he possesses. It would have maybe just been, I know he's a wing back, but it would have just given them a focal point possibly as an outlet ball with a diagonal across to the big fella, able to knock it down, combined with that winger. It just didn't happen early enough.
Aronson. Tolkien. Only a whisker away. So nearly gone on the 5.
This was a clever passage of play here. You can see Aronson, Tolkien, been one of the U.S. big bright spots, best players in the first 2 games, and then Cremaschi. A late run, just on the blind side of box hole. You can see there, he has to stretch, does the big New Zealand defender. Cremaschi does everything well. Little flick with the outside of the right boot, just misses wide. This second half has been pivotal, I think, for the U.S. because when they're playing uphill against France, there is no change they can make. They can't actually see what is real in live time because they can't make changes. They can't be flexible. They can't add wrinkles to their formation tactically. When you get up 2 and 3 and 4 nothing, you can add those wrinkles and see if they work. If they don't work, who cares? You're still winning the game. Now Mitrovic has an idea. We can do this in live time.
Roberts. Randall. Here's a goal back for New Zealand. Jesse Randall. Well, not the perfect second half in for the USA. A long road back for the Kiwis, but a goal on the board for them. It's back to 4-1. You can see the shake of that head, the frustration for Marko Mitrovic. We don't clean sheet.
The reality is, listen, I've been on the other side of that. When you're winning 4-0, everyone's buzzing and excited. The second that goal goes in, I guarantee the moment they step foot in that dressing room after the game, Mitrovic will be saying, hey, we wanted a clean sheet, well done, but we needed that clean sheet.
Still got 5 goals though. Now can't find a pass there to Booth. Just over 10 minutes to go in this game. Should be no more than a consolation goal for New Zealand. Quickly. Cremaschi. By Bindon for the Kiwis. France against Guinea. It's the next match which will take place in Group A in Nice. This is the goal back for New Zealand.
It's a really good turn. Really good turn. Just away from danger, sets it out with that left foot. You see, catches it on the end of the strike there as it leans back, and that just lifts it. Gives Schultz no chance, and as you mentioned, the consolation. And that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. He'll be frustrated, Will Mitrovic, at that aspect of it. Well, what he'll be delighted with, which I am as well with this U.S. team, Aronson, Yao, Booth, McGlynn, they want to take the ball in tight areas. They're asking for it in those tight areas with close control. When you can do that, that's how you open up and unlock a compact defensive unit. And we've seen today, even with the substitutes, they're hungry, they're chomping at the bit, trying to get more from this U.S. team, looking for number 5. And that's a huge, huge bright spot. And there's what I talked about, that turn in a tight space. Cremaschi gets the ball out, wide, relieves pressure. You have to be able to do it in football. You have to be able to take the ball in tight spaces.
Booth. McLean. Robinson. It was always seen as the strength of this US squad when it was picked. Playmakers, the flair players, as you say, difference makers. If they can express themselves, then this US team could go a long way.
That's right, and you see with New Zealand, they can't get their flair players, the ones who can express themselves better, they can't get them on the ball in dangerous areas, and we saw that against France. The US have those players. They're on display right in front of our eyes. They couldn't get them in positions to be effective. They had to defend so much of the game. You can see now, when they get in these moments, gosh, they're good.
Tolkien, Tessman, bending effort which was blocked away by Bindon. Gramaski, cheap giveaway. Randall got the goal back and he plays in the US. One season of college soccer at Northern Kentucky University. Singh there winning a free kick for New Zealand. You maybe have a chance to get one more back here, and you never know there. Could get a few nerves.
Singh has so much in his locker. He just leaves you wanting more, and oftentimes you just don't quite get it with him in those moments, but he has it. And when he's able to unlock that and unleash it, he's a special player. You see here standing over the free kick. It's important. He's important for New Zealand. They still have an opportunity, but they're going to need players like him to really come forward.
Been so comfortable for so long in this game for the US, but also switched on here. Singh with the ball in. It's beyond Schulte. Hit alive by Sheridan. Another searching ball. Singh arrives, and then Tessman puts the ball away to safety.
It's a clever run from Singh. The second time of asking, the ball goes wide. There is Sheridan, just spins in behind. You can see the angle got closed down for Singh, so he's just trying to put it back across the front.
First real time in the entire match, a bit of nervousness in that US defence as Liam Gideon comes on. So that's change in New Zealand. Singh who departs. New Zealand youth team that lost 6 against the USA in the Under-20 World Cup 7 years ago. 4-1 scoreline here in favour of the US. It would match their largest margin of victory in the Olympic Games. A 3-goal win against Costa Rica in the LA Games of '84.
It's just amazing what a goal can do. Yeah, New Zealand's down 4-0, and then most likely going to lose the game, and they're playing at a walking pace, and all of a sudden they get one goal, and they sprint to life. And there's more sprinting, there's more opportunities, there's more chasing. And whether that leads to anything else, it's a real illustration of what goals do in football. They change games, and even in the darkest moments for a team, you feel like you have opportunities.
The US. Anderson went down too, but he's up again immediately. And a free kick for New Zealand. See Garbutt, captain, goal scorer in their first match against Guinea. He also missed a penalty in that game as well. Sando.
He showed some real resilience in that game. Missing a penalty is demoralizing, but to come back, get the goal, real leadership there.
That's the free kick. Away by Gramaski. It's not to be a job. Very well done by the USA. What was always, I think, going to be the pivotal match in the group. The expectation was that they would get the better of Guinea in the third game. They'd probably fall short in the opening match against France. But these two, you would think, vying for that second spot to go through from Group A along with France. And the US are set for a commanding victory.
And we talked about mindset of both teams. I mean, they're both going to be on 3 points going into that last game. And yeah, we can talk about the US will be favored against Guinea and gosh, New Zealand won't be, but you still have to play the 90 minutes. And both teams, even after this game, one will be high, one will be low. We have to be switched on as the next 2 or 3 days are upon us, because the opportunity to advance is there for both of these countries.
They'll enjoy this for a few hours at least, I'm sure. They deserve to. Not very often see the US men with a scoreline like this, a performance like this, on the Olympic stage.
As they should. I mean, I'm not a big believer in overreacting to wins, but you have to enjoy it, because, Joe, you are responsible to take it on the chin when the low moments come. That's what's asked of you as a footballer at this level. And if you're going to be responsible and shoulder the blame for the tough moments, and you must enjoy the good ones. Whether it's 24 hours or not, enjoy the good moments and feed off of them.
Yao. Into that pace, Sermon. Physical battle too, and Yao has won it. Yao with a full square. Just about squirms away and behind for a corner. Interesting, because Marko Mitrovic told us that in an ideal world he'd play the same 11 for all 3 group games, but you see the way that Wilfried Yao has performed coming off the bench, he really has furthered his chances surely of the starting spot.
Yeah, it's tough to change the starting team, but with the close proximity of the games, and as you mentioned, Yao, he's begging the question to his manager. Like, if he doesn't deserve a start, I don't know who does. But it's exactly what you want from your substitutes.
Who's there with the ball in? It was taken well by Paulson. That's whether the mindset perhaps of subs has changed over the years. They now know they have a role to play coming off the bench and being the so-called finisher.
Yeah, they're difference makers, and substitutes sometimes looked at as a negative thing. You can still be a game changer from that role. You still have a part to play when you're a sub.
Gideon with an nutmeg, and Gideon going on, kept his feet. It was away by McLean. Garvin. Kiwis have arrived at the party pretty late on this match. There's Bindon. The shot on the turn was by Van Hatten. Good save by Schulte. With all the praise going to many of the US attackers, don't forget Schulte's save in the first half at a key time.
It was huge. I mean, I said there at halftime, it was as good as a goal, because he keeps his team in. You just watch his feet from Gillian. Lovely feet. Quick little touches, the nutmeg on Walker's in there. Credit to him. He's probably a bit leggy and tired. He's spending so much energy in the first 2 games here, but well played to Gillian. And going back to the Schulte save, when you can make that save, it's as good as a goal, because it allows your team to gain more momentum. If that ball goes in, New Zealand feels like we're right in this contest. As it was, it's a natural winning style save, and it allows your team to just say, okay, alarm bells went off, now we're switched on.
Booth. Touched away as far as McLean. Swing that time with the right foot. Memory is being made. Not too sure how much of it that shot will remember, but they'll be told, I'm sure, that they were there on the day when the US matched their biggest ever Olympic win in the men's game.
Yeah, McLean looking for more. Got onto his weaker right foot, but you couldn't tell from those pictures. Swung through it, got really good contact. In the end, though, comfortable for Paulson.
Just 4 minutes.
Stoppage time for 1
Stoppage
minute.
time.
I can imagine at this stage, both sets of players will be delighted that it's only 4 minutes. We'll be ready to get off the pitch and go enjoy for the U.S. and for New Zealand. Regroup.
New Zealand will be here again on Tuesday when they're going to face the host France, and they're going to face that atmosphere of hostility that the US sampled a few days ago. But the simultaneous matches in the group stage. The two games will kick off at the same time. We'll follow all the drama as it happens. The US still going to have to get something from that Guinea match.
It'll be there. It'll be there for New Zealand. You mentioned the crowd will be electric for that France game. They'll know they're in a big monumental game and occasion, and they won't need to muster up any of the emotion. It'll be there for them. So they'll be able to feed off that crowd. Again, what side does Thierry Henry put out, given a result, how the result goes tonight? I mean, New Zealand have an opportunity, but it's going to be exactly what we talked about. How quickly?
Ball there towards danger area. Yeah, Boo looking to match onto it. Replay continues with France against Guinea in Nice, 100 miles to the east of here. US will north to Saint Etienne, where the senior team have been before. The Confederations Cup match against Turkey, when Tim was playing. The greatest scoreline, though. Here goes Boo. It's Aronson. And there is Yao. Can't quite find that fifth goal, but it's giving.
A little bit overcooked it here, did Aronson. Once, does the right thing. Should hit it here, but once that touch goes away, does the right thing to pass it to Yao. But the U.S. have something here in Yao and Booth and Aronson. It's good to know that they can play with that false nine and be dangerous. And you might say, okay, given the scoreline, they look a bit more dangerous, these three, than does the starting lineup. So it'll beg that question from Mitrovic. Will he make a change?
Great effort and denied by the bar. That save by the bar that picked out Mihailovic a few days ago against France. That was almost a wonderful way to end this game for the USA.
Yeah, he's one of those special players. He puts the ball, he sets the ball for himself right into that sweet spot. You can tell it immediately when he gets it on the edge of the box. He shifts the ball into a position where he wants it in between and out of his feet so that he can use that left foot. It's like a wand. It's got magic in his boots. Absolutely fantastic.
That word fantastic, I think, sums up this day for the USA. It's always going to be a test of their character, a test of their resilience. Bouncing back from defeat on day one, but boy, they bounce back.
You mentioned all those years ago in the Confederations Cup in Saint Etienne. I remember it fondly, just thinking, this is such an incredible venue, and the opportunity to play, even though we lost, was pretty incredible and special for myself and my teammates.
That was a game against Turkey all those years ago. The US lost by 2 goals to 1, but they will head there for the match against Guinea as the favourites. And Marko Mitrovic's team will head north.
Everyone, yeah.